Perry Marshall here. Let's talk about coronavirus and all of the paranoia and hoopla that's going on in the world. I got a call. So Roundtable members get a 911 coupon. Call Perry an emergency. So I was running a 4-man intensive this past week, and in the middle of it, Lorena, it's like, Perry, one of the Roundtable members needs to talk to you. So I get on the phone with him. Well, he runs a huge fitness center in Chicago, and all the Chicago public schools and Catholic schools are shutting down, and all the kids are going home. And he's like, hey, I got to keep this place running. What do I need to do? And I had a flashback. 2001, September 11 happened. And it was a very weird time. It was a doubly weird time because just before then, the company I was working with was under agreement to get sold to a larger company. And the 9/11 event happened, which sent everybody into a state of like a stupor. Everybody was just like walking around in a daze. I remember a trade show I went to the following week, and everybody was just zombies. And it was like they're walking around and they're seeing, equipment sitting on the display tables, and there's vendors and there's people to talk to, but nobody's really talking about anything, and nobody's really listening to the presentations because everybody's in a daze. And I remember for about a month and a half, the phones weren't ringing. Nobody's working on projects. There's no purchase orders coming in. Everything's just really strange. And at this time, I have to decide what I'm going to do because the company is offering me a job, but it's not a very good job offer. And my wife is telling me to go out on my own. She is like, Perry, this is your chance. And I'm looking out the window. I'm like, well, geez, nobody's flying anywhere on airplanes. It was a lot like this virus thing, honestly. It was very similar. And nobody's doing anything, and nobody's hiring anybody, and the world is just at a standstill. And I was trying to decide if I'm going to take this job or not. And this one lady said to me, when you're in the time of crisis, that is the time of maximum opportunity. This is the time to make your move, Perry. And so I made my move. I didn't take the job, which my coworkers thought was crazy. And I launched out on my own. Now, about 3 weeks later, I get a newsletter in the mail from Dan Kennedy. And Dan says, hey, everybody, listen up. Everybody's walking around in a daze. Everybody's sad. Everybody's mourning. Everybody's depressed. We lost 3,000 people in New York City, and I get it. But listen, if you're not at ground zero digging bodies out of the rubble or somehow or another directly engaged in the relief efforts to solve this problem, if you're not literally hands-on helping people in some way, get your ass in gear and go sell something and go build your business, because all of the hand-wringing and all of the crying and all of the mourning isn't going to do anybody any good, especially not you. And he went on to say that you have to realize that everything that happens in life, bad or good, creates opportunities. The day you drop dead and they take you to the morgue, well, there's a funeral home that's going to get fees. There's a casket company or a cremation company or an urn company that's going to sell you stuff. There's going to be a cemetery that's going to sell you a burial plot. Okay? And if you're an entrepreneur, you can't be sheepish about the fact that a hospital, a mortuary, a morgue, a funeral company, a coffin company does make money off of other people's misfortune. In fact, everybody makes money off of somebody's misfortune. That's just a fact of life. The fact that you need to eat a sandwich this afternoon, the fact that you're hungry is a sort of a misfortune, and the sandwich shop is benefiting from your misfortune, if you want to look at it that way. And so Dan's like, hey, people, like, smack you in the face, like, wake up and get to work. Well, I took that to heart, and I did get to work. And I started hustling, and I started reaching out to people. And you know what I found out within about 3 months? It became obvious that the world had switched from, hey, let's fill this position with a job, with an employee, to let's fill this position with a freelancer or a consultant or a contractor. And it was the perfect time for me to go out and do 1099 work and do marketing consulting work for other companies, because you know what? 9/11 can happen, and people can be walking around in a daze, and for a few weeks, nobody's really doing anything, but you know it's still happening? There's still a stock market. There's still investors. There's still owners of companies. There's still payrolls that have to be met. There's still sales forces that have to go out and sell something. There's still all of the things that go on in the world. And the same is true right now with coronavirus. Okay, so maybe your town is like my town. I live in Chicago, and this week, they're shutting down the schools, and they're trying to make it so if there is an outbreak of the United States, it would go slowly instead of going fast. So that's fine. I get it. We all got to cooperate, and we all got to be healthy. And maybe in some cases it's wiser to stay home than to get on an airplane. I get that too. But we all got to do business. So here's an example. So just this morning, my wife comes in and she tells me about the coffee shop down the street, Lunges and Lattes. So Lunges and Lattes is like a yoga exercise place and a coffee shop all in one place. This lady named Angela started it about a year ago, and she's just a very regular, ordinary person, just like anybody else. She's not rich or anything. And the coronavirus has sharply affected her business. So she's been very transparent about this. She's on Facebook and she's saying, look, people, like, there's people canceling their memberships and they're not coming in anymore. And there's people that are staying home and they're not coming buying coffee. And frankly, everybody, this is kind of scary, because if this keeps going, we're going to close our doors. So now I want you to take a cue from her. She says, so here's what we're doing. She says, we've taken all of the little sugar packets and all that stuff off the counter, and now you ask the barista for that kind of stuff. And the baristas are washing their hands all the time. And she goes, as you can see, looking around, this place is squeaky clean. You know, we disinfect everything. The floor is so clean you can eat off of it. This is a safe place. You can come here. We got hand sanitizer, but come in, drink a cup of coffee, come in, get in an exercise class with 10 other people. If you're not comfortable being in an exercise class, do it online. She says you can buy a $10 membership to do the exercises class online right now. And she says right now it's on the honor system, because I can't afford the technology to put it behind a paywall, but I'm trusting you. But the world doesn't stop, and you don't stop needing exercise just because there's a virus. In fact, you probably need more because you're sitting around at home and you're not going places. And let me add, by the way, it doesn't keep you from going out of your house, taking a walk, riding your bike, any of that kind of stuff. I'm in the same boat as she is. I'm running, of all things, a live seminar May 27 to 29. We do not know if our live seminar is going to actually be a live seminar. It could be, or if we'll have to switch it to virtual. If we switch it to virtual, we'll still give people a real live seminar later, and they'll get 2 for the price of 1. And we are already planning some really interesting technological advances and applications and ways to make the virtual meetings that we have much more interesting than just webinars. And you can watch your email box about that later. But it's going to be highly interactive, and we're taking full advantage of the situation. I had to cancel a speaking engagement in Rome, and it got postponed until October. I had a speaking engagement at Harvard. The invitation came last Saturday, and then on Sunday, Harvard University announced that we're canceling all of our meetings. So that got kicked down the road. So I'm in the same boat as everybody else. And I think all of you can take a cue from Angela at Lunges and Lattes. And here's what I mean. Most people are going to default to watching CNN, being paranoid, being terrified, and hunkering down, and then indulging a bunch of bad habits while they sit at home and do nothing. That is what your customers will default to, absent any leadership to push them in any other direction. What you need to do is you need to stand up and be the leader, be the evangelist, and say, hey, people, this is what we're doing. We can't do it this way. We're going to do it another way. I told the guy at the fitness center, I said, people's need for fitness and tennis lessons doesn't go away just because there's a virus. So you need to figure out what kind of tennis lesson can you give via Zoom or GoToMeeting or Skype or whatever communication channel you want to use. The parents of your kids that are coming into these classes who have to suddenly stay home, the parents are wondering what to do because now I got a kid at home all day long. I don't want him just playing video games. I want him taking his virtual tennis lesson over Skype. I want him talking to his tennis coach. And I said, and at some point, all of this is going to come back, and people are going to start coming back into the gym. People are going to start coming back into Lunges and Lattes. And you just need to have shown that you're clearly the leader. You can actually use this as an opportunity to pull people together. So, in Planet Perry, we're not sitting still. We're rolling with the punches. It very well may be that a roundtable meeting in Europe gets canceled. Well, we'll just make other plans. We will still serve our customers. We'll still make sure their marketing is going forward. We'll still make sure that their businesses are growing. If you're a Renaissance Club member, you can get in the forum and you can talk to all of our other members about how we're all rolling with the punches, but you need to get in front of your customers. You need to be a leader. You need to tell them what's going on. You need to tell them what you're going to do, and you need to call them out, because the media sells fear. It thrives on fear. It's systemically dependent on fear, but entrepreneurship thrives on confidence and forward motion, and nobody's going to do it if you don't.